Welcome back to Coding. So last time we have discussed about different kinds of fundamental of computers questions and how what you need to exactly attempt in your exam. So guys, in this video we are going to discuss about some of the basic questions of Java and the most important question that could be asked in your exam. So guys, if you like the content what I post, to like it, share it, and also subscribe to my channel. And if you are new to my channel, let me tell you that here you can get all the information regarding the exams, like what are the important questions that you need to learn for the exams, and also you can get from the starting from basic till the end videos through which you can learn different languages. I have already posted languages of C++, Python, Java, and also upon HTML, and I'm going to post more videos also. And for now I'm just posting for the exam point of view, and also you can check my Instagram page, the link is in the description, where I'm posting quizzes and also some of the important things so that it could be useful for exams, and also the things that could help you study well, and also a part of the things that you get facts and figure you must know, or like the knowledgeable things that you must know when you are into this kind of field. So not only just study, but you getting a lot of things over here. So do follow my Instagram page also, the link is in the description, and also subscribe to my channel, and also comment your queries if you have any regarding the doubts or any other content that you want me to add on my channel. So let's get started with the video. The very first question that could be possibly asked in your exams could be, what are the features of Java? So basically when we are talking about the features of Java, how you need to basically attempt it, and what you exactly need to write so that you can score well. Number one, the first thing that you need to write is that Java is a platform independent. You can give it as a heading and then tell us that how Java platform independent, because it just requires a compiler and then the interpreter. So what will happen? The source code will be taken in Java. It will move to the JavaC, that is the compiler. Then a .class file will be created, which will be moved into a JVM, that is the interpreter, and then the machine code will be implemented to us, and then we get the desired output. So basically why we got it as a platform independent, whenever we have a Java based environment, we can just use it in any of the system, just we need to copy the class file. Number two feature, that it is secure. It includes no pointers and we can create references with the help of Java. Third is we do not use multiple inheritance. The Java does not allow multiple inheritance because we cannot use a subclass and inherit more than one superclass. Next we have interfaces. What is the purpose of interfaces? Java use the concept of interfaces in order to implement multiple inheritance. Like we cannot perform multiple inheritance, so in order to perform multiple inheritance we use interfaces. And Java is also an interactive language. It uses the concept of multi-threading, and we can also use exceptional handling. Exceptional handling basically means if any exception enters, then how we need to execute the exception and how we can control the exception. After that, what we can also do, we can create different networking applications with the help of Java. And Java uses does not use header file, but it's instead of header files it uses packages. So these are the basic features of Java. Really, a Java environment. What does the Java environment basically hold? So when we are talking about the Java environment includes the JDK. Now what does the JDK part involve the JVM, JavaC, then we have the JVM, then we have the Java doc, then we have Java H, and then we have Java DB. So basically what do all these things mean? JavaC is called as the compiler of Java, which translates the source code into a language so that it is understood by the computer. JVM is basically the interpreter of Java, which interprets the bytecode and converts into the machine code. And basically the difference between the compiler and the JVM is the compiler will just check whether it involves any error or not, and the JVM will convert that into the machine code so that it's easy for the machine to understand. As you can see on the screen also what you exactly need to write in this answer. Then we have the Java doc. Java doc stands for Java document that helps in creating the different kinds of HTML files or whatever files we want to create. Then we have Java. Java stands for the Java header files. This helps us to use native method, because we have some native methods also involved in Java through which we can use the Java H file. Then we have the Java DB. Java DB stands for Java debugger. It is used to find error in the Java code. Then we have a general structure of Java. Java general structure will include the document section, then the package statement, then the import statements, interface statement, then the class definition, and then the main methods. As I have already told in the Java videos that how we create a Java file, we just use the classes. When we use a class, we use with the help of objects, we can call any of the things. So Java basically works upon the classes. Mean by exceptions, and what do we mean by the exceptional handling, like how we need to use exceptional handling to remove any exception. So basically when we are talking about exception is basically the indication of a problem during an execution. For example, let's say the indication of a problem could be like you are trying to divide 0 with a specific number, so it will be included as an exception. So basically that kind of exception is known as a arithmetic exception. So when we need to write about what is exception is basically the indication of the problem during the runtime, and exception handling is basically how we need to handle that runtime errors with the help of some exception. Why do we need to use exceptional handling? Exceptional handling is the process that exception from the program components, handle exception in uniform manner in larger projects, remove the error handling so that the main line of the execution can be done. So we have different methods through which the exception handling is done, or we can say subclasses of exception. These are arithmetic exception, array index out of bound, null pointer, number format. So these are different kinds of exception that happens when we are using with the exceptions. So these are the subclasses of exception. Now how does the exception handler work? So first of all, what happens, the throw exception matched against first set of exception handlers means first of all the throw is given over there. If it fails to match the exception against next set of handlers, and it will move forward, and if it matches the another program and gets checked, so the exception will be removed. So basically the exception property is used with the help of some exception handling techniques. These are try, catch, finally, throw, and throws. So what is these things? Try is basically the error prone area, catch is used to handle that error, finally used to execute if error or not, throw is used to exception throwing on your own, and the throws with use of function program exception will occur, so to keep and try catch. So basically these are the types of exceptional handling techniques that we use when we want to work with an exception. It is a small code snippet and also a syntax for exceptional handling. So when we have to handle only a single exception, so the syntax could be try, then the statement and the catch and the type object. When we want to understand multiple exception, then we'll use a try statement, the catch statement, and then the catch with different objects. Then we have the finally statement. The finally statement, what we'll use a try block, then we use some catch blocks, and then the final block. The finally block is no catch created and a match with the final block, means in case if both the catch blocks are not created, then only the finally block will be created. So here you can see with the help of example also, I have created a class arrow over here. In the public static void main, I have given that int a, that is the array 5 or 10, and int b equals to 5. In the try block, what I am doing, that x is equals to, I have given a value that a2, that is 10 is divided by b minus 1, a1, that is 10 minus 5 divided by this. Then after that I have given that the arithmetic exception e, system.out.println, that is division by 0. In case I have divided the number by 0, so it will print me that division is by 0. Then I have given that array index out of bound, system.out.println, array index error, else its case will be array index error. If the other error, find out that the system.out.println wrong data type, int y is equals to a1 I have done and divided by a0, then I am printing the value of y. So basically this way the exceptions will be dealt, like if the array 1 I have given here, so the array value was 0 and 1 only, so in that case it will tell me that array index error, and if it was be divided by 0, so the answer could be shown to me that it cannot be divided by 0, because I given the value of b as 5 and I was subtracting it with 5, so it cannot be divided by 0. So in that case what will happen, the system.out.println will tell that division is by 0. So this is the basic purpose of a program that you need to write when you are told about exception handling. Most important question and the most confusing part also, that is what is method overloading, and also the second part that will be asked would be method overriding. So let us understand first of all what is method overloading. So whenever we are talking about overloading basically means the use of the same method of the constructor in a class but with different parameters and different declaration. So basically method overloading is a example of polymorphism. If you do not know what is polymorphism, you can watch the very first video on my channel, that is of OOPS concept, in which you will be able to understand what do we mean by polymorphism, and you can see that link also in the top right corner. So when we are talking about the method overloading basically means using the same engine function. So here as you can see in the example, I have used a class overload over here. In the class overload, what you can see, I have used a void ovl demo method in which I am passing the printout statement at no parameters. After that you can see I have given a void ovl demo method again with one parameter, that is int a, and then what I have passed, that int one parameter, and then passing that value. After that I have given again a same function name, but I am using different two parameters. So the value also that I am passing is two parameters. Then I have changed the data type of the method and passed two arguments of the double type. So these are the different kinds of parts that I've given. So what I am doing in the main program, I am calling that public static void main and created the object of that particular class. In that particular class, I have different objects like int RSC, then double RSC. Then I'm calling that different method. So what will be the output whenever I'm going to execute this code? So the output will be according to the different parameters I have given to that particular function. So first of all, when the first output will be printed, so it will print no parameter, then it will print one parameter and the number that I have given to that function whenever I have called that function. So it is 2. Then I have given two parameters, so it will be 4, 6. Then the result of both the numbers and the two double parameters. So basically this is the part. So here you can see in the program I have called the same just with one object that I have created, but I have given different parameters. So as soon as I will pass the parameters over there, according to that the method overloading will work. Basically in method overloading, what it is, the function name will be same, but the parameters to that function name could be different. Kind of part question that is method overriding. When we are talking about method overriding, what is the makes the difference between the method overloading and the method overriding? In method overriding, what we are having, the same method declared in the parent class as well as also in the child class. So basically that is method overriding. So what is the difference between the method overriding and why do we do method overriding? So in method overriding, we told that it has the same name method in the parent class also and in the subclass also. So when overriding is done, so that a child class can give its own implementation to a method which is already provided by the parent class. So basically that is the reason when we are using a method overriding. So let us understand the method overriding with the help of this example. So suppose say I have declared a class over here as h, in which I have given a public void eat function in which I am telling that h is eating. So basically I have written the printout statement in the void eat function that h is eating. Then I have given a class b in which I have extended the parent class that is h, and in that also I have given a void eat function in which I am writing b is eating. So these are the two different statements, but the function name that you can see over here is eat only. That is the similar function name. So when I am going to the main class, in the main class what I have done over here, I have created the object of the child class that is obj. Then I have created a new object of that particular child class. So what I am doing, I am just calling the object with the dot object, making the object and then calling the function that is eat. So in this case you can see that you have the two functions that is eat of in both the categories. So when I have called that eat function, so what is the difference in the output? The output could be shown to me that b is only eating. So what is the basic advantage of method overriding? That a class can give its own specific implementation to an inherited method even without modifying the parent class. So what you can see that I have declared the object of the second class that is b. So as soon as I have declared the object of b, so what it happens, it will call that function only and it will print me that value that b is eating. Guys, I hope you must be clear about the different important questions that could be useful for exam and what you need to exactly focus upon when we are talking about Java. So these are some of the more important questions that you should revise before going for your exam. That could probably help you in the exam. And I have shared these 5 to 6 important questions that could be useful for you in exam and were the tricky questions, and you might get confused in these kind of questions. So I am posting the important questions all on my channel and also explaining each and every language from the starting till the end. And I have given a break for time being as I am posting the important question. So to summarize your content for before the exam. So guys, if you like the content what I post, do like it, share it and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.